think your Harlem 6'2" drama professor expected to see you where you are now?
No. I don't think so. And honestly, that's one of the, when you talked about earlier, the things that I've lost, that's one of the individuals that I lost. One of the reasons I got into acting was to be able to express everything and all things that you believe and think. And then I found out, except for if you're conservative, except for if you believe in God.
Welcome to the Michele Tafoya podcast.
Well, that is Siaka Massoquoi, today's guest on the Michele Tafoya podcast. By the way, please hit subscribe so you never miss an episode, because voices like Siaka's are voices you're going to want to know about. So this man is an actor, and he didn't always plan on becoming an actor. And now that he is an actor, he's found it's a little bit difficult to be a Christian conservative black man in Hollywood. And he's going to tell you why. He's going to tell you how he's sobered up. He's going to tell you how he discovered he was a conservative, because he didn't always vote that way. And he's going to tell you why he was at the Capitol on January 6th and what has happened to him since. It may be alarming to you, as it has been to me. I've repeated this before. I've been a bit agnostic on the events of January 6th. There were some tragic things that happened, but I think the response, the reaction, the arrests of a lot of these people have been scary, a little startling. It's been eye-opening to me to learn more about this. And so I am not a conspiracy theorist, but I am into listening to people I didn't think I necessarily needed to listen to before. And that's what we're doing here with Siaka Massoquoi, and I have found it to be very enlightening. I hope you will discover the same. You may have seen him on television in the series SWAT or the TV series Lethal Weapon 2, but the things he's doing now are more comedic in nature and phenomenal. They're fantastic, they're political, and they're getting some good attention. So if you haven't met him before, we are pleased to introduce you to Siaka Massoquoi, and he is next. Happy to have this show sponsored by Priority Gold. Economists are warning that massive tax hikes could devastate your IRA and your 401k account as the stock market braces for impact. With inflation on the rise and global uncertainty looming, it's clear why central banks and savvy Americans are turning to gold. If you hadn't had your eye on gold, maybe you want to make it a priority right now. I urge you to call my friends at Priority Gold to find out how they can help you diversify your savings with physical gold and silver. Call 1-800-405-GOLD or visit prioritygold.com/golden for a free gold info guide. Plus, see if you qualify for free shipping and storage. Experts agree that physical gold is one of the best ways to fortify your savings, no matter the economic climate. Act now to get your portfolio working for you while the market is golden. Call 1-800-405-GOLD to speak with a gold specialist or visit prioritygold.com/golden to learn more. That's 1-800-405-GOLD. Siaka, it is so great to meet you. I would love to get how you would nutshell your career so far. I mean, how it sort of began as an actor and where you are now.
Whoa, wow. How it began as an actor, I would say I stumbled into it back in college in 2000. I was going to be a history teacher, and I was a history major. And I was looking for classes the following semester. I was like, you know what? I have all these history classes, all these books I have to read with no pictures except for on the cover. Oh my God, it's going to be boring. Let me find something fun. And I remember the theater department, because, your freshman year, you have to take all these electives, and one of them was theater. And so I was like, I could do that. It's fun. I could jump around. And I randomly picked this class called Black Action Theater. And the class, I thought it was going to be about watching Blade 1 and 2 and Action Jackson and all this stuff. boy, was I wrong. I got in there and there was like this 6'2" Harlem Renaissance professor, black dude from Harlem, who was like really like kind of that radical guy. I was like, you're going to write your own scripts. You're going to perform your own scripts. You're going to pick the actors for it. You're going to read these books. And I'm like, what's going on? And I got involved in, being in that class. I really started to fall in love with the process of building character, building what is this character's motivation and everything. So I fell in love then. And I was actually telling this story recently. In the middle of that semester, I was at a bar with a friend of mine who was in class with me. And I was like, we were having a beer late night and I was a little sad. And I'm like, man, I think I want to be a theater major. And he looked at me, he goes, yeah, me too. What are our parents going to think? And the next day we're in class and the teacher's talking. He goes, hey guys, you guys have been doing a great job this semester. Some of you aren't artists and performers like that, but I appreciate your efforts. But some of you have to realize this is what you're going to do for the rest of your life, Siaka. And I'm like, wait, what? And I hit my buddy. I go, why'd you? Yeah, I hit my buddy. I go, why'd you tell him? He looked at me. He goes, he didn't tell me anything. He goes, I just know when I see it. And so that just began this 100-mile-per-hour, roll down the hill into acting. And then jumped into plays in college. And in 2004, I moved out to LA and started chasing the dream.
Well, what was the first part in LA that you landed that made you think, this is going to happen? I'm going to have a paid career as an actor.
Well, that's the fun thing, right? You can have parts, but doesn't necessarily mean you're always going to be paid after a while, after the first part, right?
Yeah.
But it actually was in the first 6 months. So I thought it was going to be easy. That was a big mistake. Yeah. So it was a show called, it was a reality show where I could kind of play myself, but yet play a character. It was called The Score with Ryan Cabrera on MTV. And the whole premise was I was the muse. Right, I was a guy, former football player, running through the beach in Santa Monica, doing all this stuff, and these two women had to write a song because these were the artists. They had to write a song, and then I got to pick the best song, and then we had to go on a date, which we never did. That was kind of part of the show.
There's always a date involved. There's always some romantic twist.
Well, what was funny about that too was at the end I picked the one the song actually that I liked, and everyone's like, "Yay!" Confetti came down, and they're like, "Okay, back to one. We're gonna do it again." I'm like, "Wait, what?" And the person who I didn't pick standing there like, and I'm just like, "Oh, this is TV, huh?" That was my first taste of it. I got paid, got a car, came and picked me up, and then after that, I was doing a bunch of student films for free for about a year before I got paid again. So.
What is the role that you're proudest of, or that you're kind of that marquee piece that you were really psyched to be in?
Man, there's a bunch of different that piqued my career and changed kind of how I would move. But one of the roles that just because it involved my family's background was in 2017. I was fortunate enough to be asked to be in a movie called Providence Island. And this movie was about the history of Liberia, where my family's from. Mm-hmm. So not only did I get a chance to play in that movie, I got to play somebody who was an indigenous person from there. So I could have been playing an ancestor. And I got to go back to Liberia to play this character.
Wow.
Now going back to Liberia, and this is the first time I had been back since 1983 when my family left the country because of a coup. And I'm back as an adult. And as I get back, my mom's like, I call her and she's back in the States and she's like, oh, that church is a church your grandfather used to be the preacher of. I'm like, wait, what? And my biggest scene in the movie where I'm like being emotional and all this stuff, the actor moment was in that church. And so I'm in the church, we're setting up. I look over to the right and on the wall is my grandfather's name, S.B. Stubblefield. And that to me as an actor, to be able, that's one of the dreams I had was like, I want to be ride horses and sword fight and travel the world and do this. And the biggest travel I got so far as an actor to perform was to go back to my family's home country and be in the church of my grandfather. Like it brings me, kind of tears me up a little bit, but
I can understand. I'm kind of getting goosebumps over here on this end. To think about that and picture that is remarkable. But you are a conservative. And so at what point Did you feel like, you know what, Hollywood and we don't mix as well as I hoped, or do you? Am I wrong?
Well, no, you're not wrong. While at the same time, I do believe many in Hollywood mix very well. Is just the kind of prevailing culture here in Hollywood, and the loudest voices usually are ones that are heard the most. And right now, the loudest voices are crazy. Um, but like for me, it was two parts. It was one, getting sober in 2016. When I got sober from alcohol, and at the same time, I saw Trump was running for office, and I was like, I wasn't a Trump fan at all beforehand. I thought he was a pompous rich guy who gets whatever he wants. I could even say a pompous rich white guy who got whatever he wants just because he had money. Because I wasn't always conservative, I was raised in a liberal area of Evanston, Illinois, and Chicago, and so that's kind of where my feeling was. But when I got sober, part of recovery is it's not everyone else's fault. You have to take responsibility. So that was my first true in your face moment of like all these moments that I thought, well, maybe it's because of my skin color or my name or all these different things. It turned out it was actually me. And so within that, I was like, there's something up. I watched Trump and I watched the media say, oh, he'll be out by June. I'm like, why would you say that? And I saw what the media had been doing. I saw them major black movies that starred black actors were slave movies and civil rights movies, like not just outside of Wesley Snipes and a small handful. It wasn't just action movies or just a romantic comedy or just this. It was always like, remember, this country did you wrong. And I'm like, then now they're talking in the media about this guy who's just coming up to be like, I want to do something different. And in his first debate, when he was taking everyone down, the establishment down, and he made a statement about universal health care or healthcare in general. And everyone was talking about their talking points. And he said, oh, I have a simple solution. Just put it on the open market and the prices will fall. And I thought to myself, I'm following this guy because they're going to kill him because he's talking about real solutions. And from then on, I became a Trump supporter. I didn't really know about conservatism in that sense. And as time was going on and people were getting crazier out here in LA over a red hat, the new, Klan hood, as they called it, even though Klan was Democrats, the way they moved and responded to everything he did. But at the same time, we were prospering as a nation. And I'm like, this is some craziness that's going on. And I started getting further and further into, my best friend I've known since I was 17. He's a Christian. He was reading the Bible and we were talking about, Jesus, and we started talking more and more about God. And it started to mesh with the recovery that I was in, what I was seeing in the industry and, my best friend who I was closest to, and how that started to maturate into, man, this mindset doesn't make sense. I watch people lose their mind over Trump. It didn't make sense.
At the heart of our very democracy lies a principle we hold absolutely sacred: free speech. It is the cornerstone that supports every other freedom that we cherish. But we're living in a digital age, and in that, our discussions about wealth, our rights, and our future are being a bit muffled, silenced, overshadowed, however you want to describe it, in the mainstream narratives. And that leaves a lot of people feeling like they don't have a voice in the conversations that are really important to financial independence and security. And this is where Wealth Protection Research steps in, armed with a mission that has never been more critical. Wealth Protection Research is not a financial advisory firm. They are defenders of free speech. They are committed to giving voice to the silenced. Wealth Protection Research tirelessly seeks out financial experts. These are the voices that challenge the prevailing narratives, especially as we navigate the uncertainties of the 2024 election. Wealth Protection Research has created a 2024 Election Wealth Protection Report. This is a free report that you can get. I'm going to tell you how in a second. It highlights the 3 best ideas for protecting and growing your money heading into the 2024 election. It contains ideas the mainstream media doesn't want to touch. And as I said, you can get it completely free by texting the word IDEAS, IDEAS, to 76626. Do that right now. Claim your free copy if you believe in the sanctity of free speech and the importance of financial freedom, like your financial freedom. Act right now. Text ideas to 76626. Get your free copy of this 2024 election protection report. It is time to widen the scope of what we're told, to hear the ideas the establishment does not think you can handle, and to take control of our financial destinies. Text ideas to 76626 to claim your free copy. So you're following Trump, and you see, and we're living in this new age of Trump, whatever you want to call it. And 2020 happens, and we have this confluence of events. We've got the COVID pandemic, and we've got the George Floyd episode that leads us to all kinds of stuff from Seattle to New York to Chicago to here in Minneapolis, where I live. What were you seeing through your prism?
Well, so as I saw, and it happened here in LA a little bit, not as bad as it did in a lot of other cities, but what really kind of turned me off from leftist idea, and mostly this industry here, the way Hollywood was running, was that summer of love. We had 250 people killed in Chicago alone, and where Rahm Emanuel started in 2010 to make it a war zone. But 172 of them were young black men and women, and not a word from the media. No Black Lives Matter supporting them being killed by their own. And a 6-month-old was shot and killed around the corner from where my mom was living, who's at the time 73 years old. And it was middle of the day, about 2:00, not a word. But at the same time, many people in this industry, many bigger names like your what's the name, or Chrissy Teigen and John Legend and so others, started a bail fund for these animals. And I'm like, wait a second, I'm in an industry that will bail out these people who are killing people that look like me and my 73-year-old mother who's around there, and not saying a word to support her and letting them back out. Why am I being so afraid to speak boldly about what I see is going on and what I see is true? And so at that moment, I was just kind of done. I was like, I had been going to some Trump rallies, but kind of being quiet about it. I even had a different name on social media, so I kind of hide who I was, but not saying Siaka. Had this, my page was called Chief in the Americano with my best friend. And that happened. And I'm like, and no more, I'm done. I was like, I can't be afraid of people who are willing to throw my mother's life, to throw my life or those young lives away just for some pats on the back by God knows who, that then maybe give them a job to say a few lines in a movie because they were the ones that were, being virtue signaling the loudest, right? While paying for criminals to be back out and destroying small businesses, people's homes, and people's sense of safety. I just couldn't do it anymore. And I really just didn't care what they thought anymore. I just stopped caring.
I want to go back to a statement you said about Rahm Emanuel in 2010 basically started a war zone in Chicago. What do you mean by that?
Right. Well, in the first 6 months that he came into office, and people can go see this themselves, he shut down 50 schools in the south side of Chicago. The following summer, there was a report, I think, by the Times that said Chicago is the higher murder rate than New York and LA combined. And I grew up in Chicago, and yes, it had its problems. But when you see, especially I grew up going, anti-gang messages were all around. Like, we got to give the kids something to do, because if they have nothing to do, they're going to join gangs. He shut down 50 schools in these areas. What do we think is going to happen with these young kids? What we're seeing now. And I know friends that are there. A friend of mine that I played football and wrestled with is a PD there. He told me himself, there aren't gangs in the sense of Bloods and Crips that we're kind of used to knowing. There are little pockets of 2 to 3 little a warlord groups, separate tribes that go out. So you take out 3 of them, there's still another 3 over there. Why? Because these kids have little or nothing to do. And so they created this problem. He created this problem. He led the way. And the whole time while Barack Obama was in office and he wanted to bring up what was going on with Trayvon Martin, it's like, if I had a son, it'd be that. I'm like, if you had sons, there'd be all those kids that are being shot and killed in Chicago like it's a video game, bro. Not a word. What are we talking about? And I voted for Barack, and I made phone calls for him in 2008. I was like, no, I'm done. I was like, I'm done with the Democrats. I'm done with him. But I just kept it to myself. I didn't know how I felt about the Republicans in that way, but I was done with them by 2010, 2011, because I saw that they're willing to literally sacrifice lives to push an agenda that wasn't real and wasn't my existence of, this white racist country that hates me because of my skin color. It was gross. It was gross.
So as you made this turn in your political point of view, who did you leave behind? In other words, I hear so often from people that, leave one side for the other and they lose friends, they lose family, they lose jobs. What did you experience?
Well, in that August when I said, screw it, I'm going to get louder, and I started posting on my own personal page. I first started losing some family members, some people that I grew up with back in junior high and high school that we played football together. We'd known each other forever. I started to, in 2020 and 2021, I lost my agent and manager. My manager I've known for 6 years. At least she gave me a email, saying we're downsizing. But
is that what the excuse was? We're downsizing?
That's what we're downsizing.
Okay.
But mind you, before the shutdown in 2019 alone, I had booked like 2 national commercials, a television show, and like I had a play coming the following.
So you knew what
year.
she meant when she said we're downsizing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was downsizing because of what I believed. And I was like, again, they were bailing criminals out and they were supporting criminals. So to me, as much as it sucked, I didn't care. What hurt the most were people who I thought knew me. Some people I've known since I was 7 years old up to this point. And all of a sudden now I am the crazy person they didn't want anything to do with that. That's what hurt the most, that people that you believe knew you believe the media and the screens that are built to lie to us first over personal relationships. So yes, I did lose some people, but I gained a family in Christ because I started to follow the Lord and I started to get closer to my faith. And man, Michelle, the people that came into my life is God. He knows what he's doing. And as much as that one side may have hurt, what I've gained over here and what I've seen and experienced over here, including my wife, including my new son. Honestly, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I wouldn't trade it for the handful of people just to keep my mouth shut, because I have grown exponentially. And the one thing I've always wanted since I was 10 was to be a father, because I didn't grow up with one. And, I now was in the right path in a mindset to be conducive to that.
It is that time of the year when you're looking for the best Father's Day gift, the best graduation gift, something creative, something interesting. I have your answer. Jump online and go to besthotgrill.com. Besthotgrill.com. Because so many special events are coming up. And the gift that I know a lot of people appreciate is a way to get great grilling and healthy eating all in one. So if you want to honor someone this summer, whether it's a birthday or dad's, Father's Day, a graduation gift, do it with a gift that's going to be used, a gift that will actually be unforgettable, and a gift that is truly hot. And what do I mean by that? The Solaire infrared grill from besthotgrill.com. Solaire infrared grills, they're different. They heat up to 1,000 degrees in 3 minutes. I'm not exaggerating. They produce the juiciest, tastiest food. It's different than your conventional grill. It is so good. The char is unmatched. You might also be going on the road or having a staycation this summer. Solaire has hot and fast, portable, built-in, and cart models to help you step up your grilling game no matter where you are or what you're doing. All Solaire infrared grills are made in the USA and built to last. And more importantly, Solaire infrared grills deliver that wow factor that everybody likes to receive in a gift or a major purchase. Learn more about the amazing Solaire infrared grills at besthotgrill.com. I have one. I recommend it. It'll be the last grill you ever buy. That's besthotgrill.com. Solaire infrared gift giving at besthotgrill.com. There is a broad section of America, really the world, that thinks that Christianity is somehow, the only word I can come up with on the fly is bad, is that faith is, there's one term called Christian white nationalism, clearly you're not white. So
Yeah.
this.
Well, I did vote for Trump, so according to
So
Joe,
now
I
you're
am.
white. Okay,
So
that's
just
right. You ain't black,
just
according
so
to
we
Joe
know.
Biden.
No,
Right.
that's
Okay.
exactly.
So maybe you are part of this cult. But when you hear those terms, even just Christian nationalism, but often I hear it as Christian white nationalism. What do you think? What goes through your mind?
Well, it's the left is really good at labeling, and I think that's something as conservatives we need to be better because the left markets really well bad ideas. We need to be better at marketing our good ideas. For example, instead of Christian nationalism, I'm writing a book now, and I put it out there. I'd like to have us go by we're biblical Americans, because I think a lot of what we do here is based on, a Judeo-Christian foundation, but also an Americanism that is very special here compared to any other country because we beat the biggest, army in the world at the time just for individual liberties and freedom to be able to believe what we want. And I would also push back when they say, about Christianity and faith and this. Look, the leftists and the godless, it's written that they will hate God so much that to do whatever it can to break them down. Jesus says the slave is no greater than the master. What they've done to me, they'll do to you. So they have a faith. They have a belief. They have a religion that they follow. It's the godless religion. It's a cult religion of intersectionality and LGBTQ plus, and skin sin, as I like to call it. The Bible tells us to die every day to our flesh. Every day they tell the world that, whatever color of the rainbow of the six godless rainbow that they use, that's who you are, which is just a sexual identity. It's the most kind of a simple way that anyone can really view themselves as what whole they prefer over the other, and that's what they push, which is opposite what the Bible talks about. We need to relieve ourselves of the flesh because the flesh will lie to us. Man's heart is deceitful. What do they tell you? Always follow your heart. Always follow love. And you're like, wait a second. Why are you telling me messages antithetical to what the Bible teaches in order for me to get to my the best of possible life that the Lord sees for me? So when I started seeing the Bible, I started seeing, wait a minute, their entire message is its own religion and it's completely opposite. So I don't fall for that. Well, you're just a man of faith and you're caught up in some type of, mythical like storytelling. Like you're caught up in mythical storytelling because you believe you can cut a kid up. Sorry, my dog. Okay. You can cut a kid up and then they become the opposite gender when we see this in Genesis and he made them male and female. He didn't make them male and then think they can flip over to something else. So everything they're teaching is their own religion of the godless.
And why do you think it's happening? What motivates this destruction of, and I won't even, this destruction of freedoms and liberties and unity that we used to really thrive on as a really a great nation, a nation that built and delivered the greatest generation to end World War II. I mean, I look at this and I go, why would we want to break this down? Why would we want to maintain all the racial divisiveness? And it gets pushed, as you well know, every single day. Yep. Why do you think?
Everywhere. Well, it's the haters of God, and just like the evil one, Satan, when he fell, their whole plan is to be God. You can look at Bill Gates, Anthony Fauci, and now we see Fauci's all those rules like, I just made them up. Yeah, they want to subjugate. Yeah, you have either subjugation or you have salvation. And there's only one that offers salvation, and it's not man. And that's the problem. They want to be God. They want to be like God. And so they want to tell you, you can be whatever you want. You don't need to listen. And that's the same lie that Satan told Eve in the garden. Surely you won't die. Surely he knows that you're just going to be like him, knowing the difference between good and evil. It's the same lie. It hasn't changed since the creation of man when we were first deceived in the garden. They want to subjugate because in that subjugation, they believe then they are God because you follow God. What does God tell you? God tells you to bow down to him. And so they want that. They want that.
Certainly the government does seem to be wanting to replace everything else as the place that you need to go to rely on, to get everything you need, to sort of worship at the feet of politicians, which is disgusting to me. Siaka,
which is communism.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And
that's where they're going.
Yeah. It's God, they need to read their history. They really need to read their history.
Yeah.
Siaka, I know you do some stuff with Daily Wire. You do some stuff with Babylon Bee. Where can people find you now? What are you into that excites you?
I'm into a few different things, which is, it's funny because before 2020, I was known as more of a serious actor. And then because of this craziness, I got into comedy and ridiculing this. And then it hit me. That's a great way to get our message across, because a lot of times I saw conservatism, Republicans going, stop, because, freedom and 2 + 2 = 4. And now it's like, no. The Daily Show did a great job of ridiculing conservatives and made it okay to start to laugh at their ideas. We need to do the same. So to me, it's very important to point out the ridiculousness of these ideas that they bring up that are really damaging individuals' lives in the long term from a creative sense. We need to be more creative. Our Lord is the most creative that ever existed. He gives us creativity. Jesus was creative. He was funny. Yet we tend to lose that as we're fighting and contending for the kingdom. We need to bring in that joy. We need to bring in that storytelling. We need to bring in, that ability to bring people together and have them see things a little bit differently from a joyous lens. So I try to do that with the Bee, which is a Christian-based company, with Daily Wire, with even PragerU, that follow the Judeo-Christian mantra. But if anyone wants to follow me, you can check me on Instagram at Siaka _Massoquoi. That's Siaka SIAKA _MASSAQUOI. And you can find me on X at Siaka Massoquoi as well.
And trust me, when you start typing Siaka and then the M, there aren't many of you, so you pop right up. It's easy to find you.
There's like me and the basketball player. That's it.
I talk an awful lot about free speech, how it is really at the heart of our democracy. It's a principle that is sacred to this country. It's the cornerstone that supports every other freedom that we cherish. But we're living in a digital age, and that means that discussions about our wealth, our rights, and our future are in some cases they're being muffled, being silenced, being overshadowed in mainstream narratives. And I know that leaves a lot of you feeling voiceless in the conversations that matter so much to us about our financial independence and our security. And this is where Wealth Protection Research steps in. This is a group armed with a mission that has never been more critical. Wealth Protection Research is not a financial advisory firm. They are defenders of free speech. They are committed to giving a voice to the silenced. Wealth Protection Research tirelessly seeks out financial experts. These are the voices that challenge prevailing narratives, especially as we navigate the uncertainties of the 2024 election. Wealth Protection Research has created a 2024 Election Wealth Protection Report. This is a free report that highlights the 3 best ideas for protecting and growing your money as we head into the 2024 election. It contains ideas the mainstream media will not touch, and listeners can get it completely free by texting IDEAS to 76626 to get your free copy. That's the word IDEAS, IDEAS. If you believe in the sanctity of free speech and the importance of financial freedom, do this now. Text IDEAS to 76626 to get your free copy of this 2024 Election Protection Report. It is time to widen the scope of what we're told, to actually hear the ideas the establishment doesn't think you can handle. But of course, you know you can handle it. And to take control of our financial destinies, text IDEAS to 76626 to claim your free copy now. I want to roll a little bit of a clip of the Jeremy's Razors greatest commercial ever, too.
Oh, hey, I'm Jeremy Boring, CEO of Daily Wire and founder of Jeremy's Razors. Woke razor companies love to take your money while trampling on your values. Me? I just love your money.
Cut! What the hell is this?
Oh, I love that. It's clearly you do have a great comedic strain, and I believe that all dramatic actors have a tendency to be good comedians as well.
Yeah.
But I just wonder if we could circle back to your college days. Do you think your Harlem 6'2" drama professor expected to see you where you are now?
No. I don't think so. And honestly, that's one of the, when you talked about earlier, the things that I've lost, that's one of the individuals that I lost. And it's sad that that happened, because one of the reasons I got into acting was to be able to express everything and all things that you believe and think, and be around people that would, you can bounce this stuff off to. That's kind of how it was framed. And then I found out, except for if you're conservative, except for if you believe in God, unless you believe in the degeneracy of society, they don't want to hear it. And it's really sad, because that man helped. It was really influential and inspirational to help me get sober, to help me with my acting and to push forward in that sense. But, to lose all that, and I'll drop this really quick, because, I got involved, and I was a January 6th, and I have been attacked by our FBI. I was raided in 21, not arrested or charged, and it came back almost 3 years later and arrested me on the tarmac for 4 misdemeanors. And I saw people like that disappear on me. But I saw, like I said, the people that then God put in my life in these last 4 years, the amount of arms that have came and held me up, Michelle. It's only God that I can see have brought those people in my life, because I saw the others that I thought would be there disappear. And fortunately enough, and with, the little name recognition, I've been put in a position where that I can fight back, because a lot of people don't have, an extra $60,000, $70,000 just to fight off misdemeanors. So they are pleading based on the fact they can't afford to take on the government that uses all the resources we have to take an individual down. So if people want to help with that fight, and I think we have a really good case, and we have done some great following, if they want to help, you can go to defendsiaka.com. That's defend Siaka, SIAK.com. And, we have our court case in October, and I really do believe, with the glory of God, that we will prevail, that truth will come out, and the things we're asking for. And on the other side of that line, it can help. It can help a lot of people. It can help a lot of those people the grandmas who were just taking selfies that have to spend time in federal prison, the pregnant ladies on the grass that then were house arrest for 9 months for standing there, the former agent that was there just to make sure everyone was okay, and now he's fighting for his life not to go in there for 22 years. So there's a lot of people that it can help. There's a lot of people I think it can help. Nonviolent individuals, look, people who got involved in getting physical, you do deserve something there, but people who are standing around and were let in the doors, like myself. I stood in the doorway for 71 seconds. They came to my house with 15 agents, AR-15s, in my face, my best friend's face. They grabbed. They took my stuff, and they still have my stuff to this day. And on November 30th, they ripped me away from my then 7-month pregnant wife on the tarmac at Burbank, and took me. I spent a night in jail, and all of this was for misdemeanors. But for the most part, all of this was because I don't believe in man as they want us to. I don't believe in the subjugation of the left. And it's really sad, because a lot of people have gone through this. I'm just one that some can know. And I think that is a blessing from God, because there are many who have been plucked away in the quiet of the night, and no one will ever know.
It is, what a time to be alive. I don't know. It's,
Right. It's pretty crazy.
I am incredibly sorry that you went through that. And, I tell people that until I was introduced to Nick Searcy and watched his film, I was kind of agnostic about the whole January 6th thing. Like I didn't feel one way or the other. And that film really changed my mind. Your scene in it really moved me, and that's why we're sitting here talking today. Siaka, I want to have you back, because I want to spend more time.
Yes.
You are so fascinating to speak to, and no, really, and you have a meaningful story to tell, and I want to amplify that. So I thank you so much for taking the time. I always say, be brave, do good. He is brave. He has done good. Follow Siaka Massoquoi wherever you can. And, check out those Jeremy's razors. I am not paid for that.
Yeah.
It's just such a darn good commercial. It is so funny.
You see, look, we can market, guys. Make sure we try to figure out, be strategic.
I'll tell you what, the Babylon Bee has been on fire lately. It's been great.
Yes.
Thank you.
And look up it's going to be I got a new Father's Day one for the Bee coming up in within this week. And it's so great because I just became a father. I have a 3-month-old, and I do believe this is probably one of the funniest things I've done, and especially with the theme about
Cannot wait. Oh, that's a great tease. We'll be looking for it. Siaka, we will visit again. I promise. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much, Michelle. Big fan.